Hello, STM fans. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone. We are live direct, of course, to continue the in-depth analysis of events. According to the latest happenings, there have been several speculations after Sunday Igboho gave vote of thanks and appreciation to the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic of Exile for sparing uh, Corporal Torionla Adewale, of course, who happens to be one of the Nigerian military personnel deployed in the eastern part of Nigeria, and eventually in the course of fierce confrontations, he survived such a hostile environment and was arrested, but then they decided to pardon him and give him the gospel message to go and tell to his fellow brothers that Biafra is here. And some have said in the course of the week, that please, Mazi Simon Ekpa should also spare other Yoruba military personnel in the Biafran defined territory according to the plea. But Simon Ekpa, in his timeline, said no more second chance to anyone, that the warning had been served, and if you care to heed to the warning, well, that is for your good. But if you defy this warning, well, you may, of course, not be fortunate, just as Corporal Toriola Adewale was. No more second chance. Good morning. We have an analyst here who, of course, will give his own understanding over what transpired and, of course, the interpretation of that position. No more second chance. You are warned ahead of time. Good morning, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir, for this great opportunity given to me.
You're most welcome.
I'll based on your question, sir. The Prime Minister have instructed, even long before now, sir, by telling Nigerian government, he brought out two cardinal points and set it before Nigerian government as a law-abiding citizens of Biafra. By telling Nigerian government that he's not a troublemaker, and of course he's a very peaceful fellow. Then Nigerian government, what you should do, go into Biafran land, evacuate all your security forces, recognize the 40 state of Biafran, and release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for peace to return. Then Nigerian government of the date, they keep moving. And they keep taking the Biafran on granted, under the disguise that after all, I conquered your forefathers. That is an insult. Then that goes away. Then they keep pushing, deploying soldiers, every street by street, home by home. As I speak to you now, I'm telling you that Biafran nation is under siege. And at this juncture, Baba, we live with no choice. Biafra don't have choice rather for we to embark on self-defense. Then on the plot of this self-defense was when Adewale was being captured. Yes, because that has been their way how to turn turn capital A to become B. Question: If Nigerian army are claiming that the said army is a retiree, question goes like this: What was he doing in the battlefield with Biafran army?
With other his own
Yeah,
military.
with others of his colleagues. And let me tell you, that the issue that the rule that had to do with forces, whether police, whether army, air force, or any paramilitary that serve Nigerian state. I'm one of them, but I will not like to specify the actual force I came up from for security reason. As I know, either in the army, in the police, anywhere, the day you put up resignation, you have no moral justification for you to go back and put on the uniform.
Exactly, of course. Let alone being part of the uh, troops battalion that was mobilized.
So what what the army's authority are trying to tell us, my dear, we are not fools. They should remember that we are Easterners and we are the wise men, the wisest among all the black race in Africa. So the common Fulani Janjaweed cannot come and paint. They're trying to turn the true picture to become black. They don't bond that idiot very well.
Maybe by my own opinion, immediately he was captured and, of course, pardon. He confessed. By his confession, he have denied Nigerian existence and he have denied serving Nigeria. He said that Biafra should be allowed to go. You know, for a military, somebody who vowed to protect the territorial integrity of Nigerian state, serving as a military personnel, now denouncing the same Nigeria
That is
in the public. You know, immediately he have lost that
trust.
trust. You know, that is why they now use the word X. You know, that is just it. Now, Simon Ekpa said, no more second chance. The door is closed. What is your perspective?
And of course, in fact, to this aspect, I give my prime minister a hand of approach. That is an action of a wise man. You know what that stands for? What that stands for is just for the Biafran, just for me to show as an example to the entire global world what we are capable of doing. That in most cases we can be this soft, but then whether whatever nation cannot take our gentility yeah, for granted. So that is why we decide to the Biafran army decide to release this set army for him to carry this message and tell his people, telling his people in case of if there is still any other one that is left in Biafran land, that they should put call across for them to return back home. That any other person caught, that there will be no, that person will not have the same opportunity that this one is having. The same thing applicable with the Northerners, the Fulanis, the Benue, whosoever, even our brothers, Biafra,
even the
Igbos serving in Nigerian army.
I have heard the Ekpa saying that they should resign, otherwise they will also be considered as enemies.
The Prime Minister have said this time without number that any armed carriers in Biafran land henceforth been declared wanted. So you don't just say you are this, you are that, then you begin to commonize that instruction. So that instruction, Nigerian government should obey to evacuate all their armed carriers men and leave our land in peace to be at peace. Because as it is now, it is the Nigerian state that is causing terrorism in Biafran land, killing and all other crimes that is happening there. It's being carried out by the terrorist army and the police.
And the Biafran army, liberation army, are there to defend, of course, their own life and
The territory of
their,
Biafran.
their supposed territory. Now, it appears that the Biafran military have expressed some level of capacity over the Nigerian government, because if they can capture a Nigerian serving military personnel, and of course would be able to pardon the person, regardless that the person, nobody know how many children of Biafra they have killed. It has shown that they have the capacity to manage human resources.
Of course, of course. You see, my response goes like this. If you can record when our leader, in the presence of Masin Namdekalu, said that this time, that this generation of Biafran come prepared. No, this is not the time, the days of our fathers. We prepared before we open mouth mention Biafra because we know Nigerian state. So the fact remains, my leader have already stated it clear that for instead of not Biafra not to come, that every living organism in Nigeria we died. And we are the true followers of Masin Namdekalu, the great leader. And that is what we stand for. So the better the Nigerian government quickly acting onto this, it is better for them. Because come 2nd December, when Biafra will be publicly announced, my dear, we will not look at anybody, rather to do the needful. And the needful, the Prime Minister have said, we don't have say to keep anybody. We don't have a guarantee to give anybody. What does that tell you? So anybody that is either the body or say his flesh does not smell Biafra, such a fellow is going down. So that is the slogan.
We don't pray for war, as the case is. Whatever, of course, be the case, we hope that it will be resolved amicably through dialogue. The lockdown, 30 days lockdown, of course, is just around the corner, about 9 days to go. So, what is your assessment of this? Is it a success? Was there any compliance at all? And what do you think is the way forward?
Oga, we are the owners of the land, and the able Prime Minister have given instruction what he wants to happen in his country. So the strangers cannot decide. The stranger, who are the strangers? The strangers are the Nigerian police, Nigerian army, and other parastatals serving Nigerian state. So when the owners of the land have issued instruction, they don't have choice, rather for them to comply. I think you had what happened. I think about 3 days ago, a police command in Anambra, we bombed, and everything was set ablaze because of this arrogance of say this and that. No, you don't dare the Biafrans. Just as our leader said, we are not happy. Yes, we are not happy.
Don't you think that that is more problem for Simon Ekpa and, of course, his men? Because the Nigerian Defense Headquarters seeks international support action against Simon Ekpa, and eventually, don't you think he might be, by all means, of course, repatriated? And of course, to face judgment. You know what that means?
Allah.
For Simon Ekpa. Is it not, of course, a judgment day coming ahead of him?
Okay, I laugh for that question. Do you know why I laugh? In 60s, what was the numbers of Biafran that Nigerian government killed? And question goes like this: where was the international community? Where was the international criminal court and the Amnesty International? Where were they? Second, when Buhari, under his regime, deployed army headquarters and moved them to invade Mazin Namdekalu house and kill over 100 and something people alongside with the mama and papa, then whereby Nnamdi Kanu narrowly escaped from the scene. Where was the international community? Where was the international criminal court and co? We are waiting for them. We are waiting for them because I think all the evil that Nigerian governments have perpetrated in Biafran land is in record. So anywhere they want to go, we are fully prepared to meet them with document. The document that we are meeting them, that is for us to open evidences and back them up with international law that allowed us to carry gun to defend ourselves. So enough of this, because Nigerian government believe that it is only them that know how to fire gun. Yes, they believe that it is only them that knows how to fire gun. But they don't know that the gun that they are believing upon, we built it. You hear me? We built it. Why did they say buy? They buy. Why we build? So this time around, it is time for we to show them how to handle gun. They don't know how to handle gun.
As I said, we promote peace and not violence, of course, and give people opportunity to interact on the issues of importance.
I'm telling you my mind as it is. I have to tell you as it is. I have to tell you as it is. So the international law allowed us to defend ourselves. Yes, give us the ground for self-defense. So what you are seeing now is nothing but self-defense.
Which is allowed according to the international law.
International law, yes. So anywhere they want to go, and we are prepared, and we are waiting for them. We meet either in court or anywhere.
Thank you so much,
welcome,
comrade Prince Dan Odo.
You are welcome, sir.
I do appreciate you, and of course, your passion for the movement for the restoration of the Biafran state is second to none. But some Akwa Ibomites have said that Philip Efong put to rest the struggle of Biafra. He signed that there will be no Biafra again. What is your reaction to that? But you are here, and the millions of Biafrans are still coming up in their more than 50 million, saying that we want Biafra. But someone said that Philip Efong, the second in command to Ojukwu, put an end to Biafra struggle by surrendering to Nigerian government.
Just briefly, if I may respond to that question. I want to go into it in the aspect of, you see, like this upstairs. Your father built it, and he died. Then a son from that family stood up, and overnight he sold off that building. How do we describe such a son? He's a bastard. Do you understand that? So what I mean here is this: any Akwa Ibom man who come here to speak a jargon against Philip Efong, who fought with his dear life, put everything online to against the Nigerian government, and he come here to talk rubbish. Such a guy is a bastard. He does not know where he come from. He's a child that was being given bad by a Fulani, and they needed to be repatriated back to the Fulanis.
You might know the person, Pastor Obong, and okay, Okay, well, when Biafra comes, according to some persons, DNA test will be run
That's what I mean.
to know
When I keep
who are
saying,
the true Biafra.
when a true Biafran, for you to be a Biafra man.
Okay. How do you detect somebody's body smelling Biafra? Is my body smelling Biafra or Nigeria, please? Well, I think that is not the time for this now.
It is not your body must smell Biafra. Nigga.
Well, you never can tell. Well, whatever happens, it's been an exciting moment. Of course,
you see,
we
you see,
are
you see,
home.
you see, you see, the bodies of Sam Managba live very far. But inside my house, I'm perceiving the other of a Biafra man. Masin Namdekalu live very far from me. And inside my parlor, I'm perceiving the others of Biafra. So that's what I mean. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
You're
Of
welcome,
course,
sir.
you've been a very interesting man to be with, honestly. Prince Odo, honestly. Thank you once again for your time and excitement here. An opinion, of course, being expressed. You can see we make everything very exciting and with mixed with humors. We are not serious to the point of course, death here. We promote peace and humanity, and of course, the unbiased reportage of events and analysis of issues, of course, happening around us. Yes, we must say the truth, and people should express themselves and to understand how to uh, provide solutions to this. Just as the Chief of Army Staff yesterday said that except Nigeria fights against poverty and unemployment, the fight against insecurity is just a waste of time. So if the chief of army staff can recognize and of course to express this before the public, it means that all the casualties recorded on the part of the military is just a waste of personnel. That the main important issues have not been addressed, which borders on poverty. And how does poverty come into, of course, play? When the economy is destructive, is in the state of moribund, of course, the majority of the masses will be impoverished, will be trapped in that same abject poverty. And as you can see today, so the chief of army staff coming out boldly to say this is an indication that they are now realizing, of course, that there's something that needed to be done rather than living in denial all the decades. They have come to understand that the problem is the political class and those who are within the corridor of power who have destroyed the very essence of humanity. They have destroyed opportunities, of course, they would have used to transform humanity, create enabling environments, and they attract foreign investors that will empower all our Sunday, especially the teeming populations of the Nigerian youth who are now drifting into criminality. And you know that what that means? The more they become more criminal minded, the more the country, more moral decadence and crisis will engulf the entire country. As you are seeing now, more youths are now being enlisted, enrolled, and recruited into Boko Haram, suicide bombers, and all that because they have found an alternative for survival, which unfortunately the society failed to give them. And today, the society is now reaping what they have sowed, the negligence, the wanton destruction of lives by way, of course, of economic terrorists. They looted the common treasury of the masses. And today, the masses are left in the state of vulnerability, the worst state of misery. And they could not in any way contemplate or consider, of course, joining in any sort of criminality, just as Yahoo Plus, ritual, organ harvesting, and of course, taking up arms against the same security operatives that is the symbol of nationality or the symbol of nationhood, just as Nigeria is today across the north, the east, the west, and the south. There is no peace, and eventually the same security operatives who are meant to preserve and protect the territorial integrity of Nigerian state are becoming victims because of these lies by the political class. They have lied to Nigerians, they have deceived Nigerians. I mean, by day, I know there are a few of them who have distinguished themselves in service to humanity, but the majority of them, even from the north, have ruined the entire, of course, essence of existence of humanity in the north. Today, the north receive the, the highest allocation accrued from the federal uh, pause. But today, the North, you can see how the North have been isolated, how the North is poverty stricken. And today, they even celebrate the government or the governors there and their representative in the House of Senate representative can even make boasts. And they're very proud to say that the North are the most impoverished. Having been in the corridor of power for more than 40 years, more than 4 decades, they have not justified justification for, of course, crying over the spill make. It's quite unfortunate. And that's just as we can see the avoidable national disaster. I wouldn't say national disaster because if the right facilities are put in place, the maintenance of dams are reinforced, the flooding wouldn't have caused so much damage because of negligence. The walls have been weakened. And of course, what do you expect? There is no maintenance culture, and the entire walls have to collapse. And the waters, of course, the flood was so heavy, taking over close to or more than 300 lives. More people are being, of course, at large. Families are still looking for their loved ones, which means the number will definitely increase more than the projected or speculated number of casualties. Now, if the government have been proactive, if the government prioritizes the safety, the security, and the welfare of their supposed citizens, they would have put things in place, structures, infrastructures in place to, of course, hamper such level of damage. Then that is Nigeria for you. So for the chief of army staff coming to say that we got it wrong, fighting with bullet and gun cannot solve the problem. Yes, investing and allocating billions of dollars in the fight or procurement of ammunition will not solve the problem, except poverty and unemployment is addressed decisively and with all sense of commitment. You go nowhere. You are just building an army of destruction that will definitely collapse the entire country, just as we are seeing today. More efforts have been made, of course, to stop this anarchy, this insecurity unrest. Rather than solving it, you are rather building more opportunities for people to get more stubborn, more resistance. Just as we see from Boko Haram, he entered to ISWAP, from ISWAP, metamorphosed to bandits, from bandits, and then other criminal gangs and cells are coming up to frustrate and destroy because they have known that this is the only alternative for survival. People who should have been sent to school, given opportunity to develop themselves and contribute, of course, to the well-being and the welfare of the society. They were denied such opportunity because of religious manipulations and tribal sentiments against their own people, wickedness against their own people, while the children of politicians, even in the north, that claims, of course, they are fighting for Allah, in Oxford University, Cambridge University, choice universities around the world, and of course, living at large, while the vulnerable masses are being exploited, being used as toggeries during the elections to rig elections for them, and of course, being given thrown stipends like dogs to feed on. Today, they have discovered that the society has been so wicked and cruel to them, and there is nothing left for them than to fight for survival. And in this fight of survival, they have seen that the only way to remain relevant is to oppose the same government that have robbed them of course the very essence of existence. And that is why insecurity will not in any way go out, just as Sheikh Gumi said, that you can't fight against insecurity. You can't fight against Boko Haram in the next 2 decades. You cannot conquer them. Why? Because they are now more empowered, more sponsored from some, of course, interested quarters that is sponsoring them, giving them ammunition and money. You know what that means? Receiving inducement and incentive to commit crime. You know that that crime has come to stay, just as the late head of state Abacha said that any insecurity that lasts beyond 24 hours is being sponsored by the state. And who are the states? Only God knows. We have been meant to understand there are people sponsoring Boko Haram, of course, which has been reportedly, of course, indicted even by international communities as the US and other notable countries of the world. And yet, those people have not been arrested or brought to book. Perhaps they are the powers that perhaps are connected, highly wired and connected to the powers that be. Nobody can touch them, they are untouchable, and that is quite sad. So the chief of army staff was very much right uh, that you can't fight insecurity. Even the one going on in the east, this have informed the reason the poverty, the unemployment has informed the reason why we have volunteer force of the Biafran army trying to fight for their own independence so that they can build their own home, they can build their own country, they can establish their own self, manage their own resources, and develop at their own pace. They are tired of these endless stories, stuck in the wheel of motionless and despair. How long shall we continue to wallow in deep, abject poverty in the midst of plenty? And this, of course, has come to stay. In the very moment the Biafrans took up arms in defense of their inalienable rights, and of course, being protected by the Constitution and international laws. The right to self defense is not a crime internationally recognized. Of course, other nations of the world have ceded, of course, from their uh, parents or natural or regional countries, and they are doing exceedingly well for themselves, and of course, charting their own future and their, defining their own economy and values or ideology shared within themselves. Just as we see in the Finland, where the Prime Minister of the Biafran Republic government in exile resides. Of course, Finland fought against USSR, the Russia, when they were more, of course, robust, fortified. They fought until they got their independence. We have other Bangladesh, we have Pakistan, fought, of course, to get independence from India, and the rest of them, of course, is history and cannot be denied. When the people say they have the right to move, they want to move. Of course, trying to stop them will be very mischievous and insensibility, because when they have made up their mind and you understood, they are not backing down. There's nothing, of course, that can deter them. When the determination is strong, nothing can deter them. Just as we are seeing today, the more you force them, you push them, the more they get more resistant and the more they build, of course, and prepare for the worst. The very worst, unfortunately, we have not seen. But then the signs are everywhere. So what we are here to discuss and interact is the issues of importance bordering on the existence and continuity of humanity. How long shall we continue to live in this denial? Why disaster looms? This have informed the reason why Simon Ekpa and the Biafran Republic government in exile, and of course the Biafran Liberation Army, have given warning that no more second chance. You can't stop us because we have agreed, we the Biafrans have decided to move on with our lives, to define our own heritage and our posterity, to preserve our posterity by moving on with our life. We are not coming to occupy your own territory or region. We are not begging to harness your own resources. We want to live our own, be independent of our own, sort out our own issues and challenges by ourselves that is local to us, and of course, define the way forward for us. That if they are coming to say we are not going to leave, we will remain under servanthood, under bondage and trapped in the wheel of motionless and despair, then you should be considered as an anathema and someone, an enemy that must be vehemently and ruthlessly fought against. That is the position of Simon Ekpa and the Biafran Republic government in exile. And then, considering it on that perspective of justice, equity, and fairness, you might not have to blame them because the very important question is Nigeria working? Just as the Chief of Army Staff have made it very clear that Nigeria is not working. Why? Because the issue of poverty, the issue of unemployment has been a source of worry, a source of, concern globally. Nigerians are leaving the shores of this country on daily basis, looking for greener pastures. Even those who are relatively gainfully employed are leaving the shores of Nigeria, including doctors, teachers, and other fields of endeavor. They are leaving because they have no confidence in the safety and security of their lives and that of their loved ones and families in Nigeria. And what does that mean? A vote of no confidence, just as the Chief of Army Staff have made his submission very clear that insecurity is still on the rise. Why? Because the issue of poverty, the issue of unemployment has not been solved. And how does humanity survive in the absence of any opportunity, of course, provided by the government? We don't have social security, we don't have health security. Everybody is on his own. You either die or you survive. And what does that mean? Is an indication that a society that does not care for her own, of course, we eventually, it's just a matter of time, go into extinction. Are we at that moment of complacency, of decision? It's quite unfortunate. I hope the government and those hearing us must understand there is fire on the mountain, or they could also choose to live in denial until disaster looms. We can't keep Christian issues untouched, and disaster is almost looming, catching up with all our sundry. Well, you may have the highest, the best private jet to jet out when the occasion demands, but then humanity will remember you for the cruelty, how callous you have done to them. Well, you have the right time to do what is right. Humanity is at the state of extinction and is being threatened today. What is the way forward for all our sundry? Okay, thank you once again for being part of this discussion here in Cowwave TV. No more second chance for those who care. And if you defy them, they said, well, you may not have the opportunity. And they, of course, be so lucky as Corporal Toriola Adewale. Well, for him, congratulations to his family. It is one of the greatest miracles in this century that someone who is to be condemned to death eventually find life. Well, thank you once again. Now you people, they find where, okay, he said the day be to whatever you are saying. Thank you once again, everyone who has been part of this discussion this morning. It's been an exciting moment being here, of course, to contribute to the progress of humanity and interact and, of course, discuss issues of importance as families and humanities. Make sure to know love man, or what is this one saying? Thank you once again. I may not have, of course, the leisure to go through this comment section. Thank you, Mr. Sam Onyekwere. Thank you once again for your compliments. Thank you for watching and being part of this discussion today here in Cowweb TV. Floppy, Blue, whatever may be the case, thank you for being part of this discussion. Ike Chuku, thank you once again. To this end, we come to the end of this discussion. Wishing you the best of the rest of the week. Of course, remain safe and make sure that you preserve and do all you can to protect humanity. Excuse me. To this end, we come. Okay, Chidera, Ekpa, thank you once again for being part To this end, will come your way. It seems I'm having or developing some cough, and I think that will be taken care of. You could as well support us, the ministry and the service of humanity, using the super chat, or contact me via my WhatsApp number. And of course, we'll discuss more and interact on the way to go. Thank you once again. I remain Chigos Ndibo, the host anchor. We'll see you the best of the weeks, the rest of the week. Thank you. Bye for now.
You don't come now. You don't come now.